Hi, I'm Julie and this is Ryan, and we are the founders of Limitless Van, a custom van build company that builds on Ford Transits and Mercedes Sprinters. And we're here today to answer the most frequently asked questions we get when someone is starting their van conversion journey. So we're gonna talk about everything from what platform do I build on, what upgrades should I put in my van, to really important questions like how concerned should I be with the overall weight of my vehicle. So let's dig in?
Let's dig in.
Okay, all right, so let's start with the first question people need to decide when they're building out their van is what platform. So would you recommend the Sprinter or the Transit, and why?
Good question. So traditionally, I always preferred the Ford Transit because it had a bigger engine, the 3.5 liter EcoBoost, and a 10-speed transmission. However, since 2023, Mercedes has upped the game and they have a more powerful engine and they have a 9-speed transmission. So the engine package is on par with each other. So now I actually prefer the Mercedes Sprinter. The Mercedes is able to get really quality suspension on all four corners, which is really important when you're putting weight in these vehicles. So that tips the scales for me.
Okay, so let's take a second though and talk about the Ford Transit pros, because there are definitely things that are worth considering. So one is the availability of service centers and dealerships. Like there's a lot more for the Ford Transit. So if you're out and about driving, throughout the country in your van and something goes wrong, you're a lot likely to be closer to a Ford service center. And parts are more likely to be readily available and affordable. So that's like a pro for the Transit for sure. And then also headspace. So like if you are tall, after you add the floors and the ceiling in your conversion van, you're gonna have about 6'5" of space in a Transit versus 6'2" in a Sprinter. And it never feels good to be crouched over in your van.
Yeah.
So definitely there are pros to the Transit that are worth considering for each person.
Absolutely.
And honestly, they're both great.
They're both great.
We wouldn't say that one is bad.
Yeah.
So, all right, next question then. If you're going with a Transit, would you recommend the standard all-wheel drive Transit or the new Transit Trail?
Yeah, this is an easy question to answer. So everybody was really excited for the Transit Trail to come out because it was promising more off-road centered capabilities. The truth is, for $7,000 to $8,000 more, it's not worth the price. So I would recommend getting the standard Transit all-wheel drive, and with that money that you're saving not getting the Trail, spend it on actual quality suspension components like Van Compass, and then also get the Quigley Q-Lift put on it as well. You're still going to be spending less money with the Quigley Q-Lift and Van Compass suspension than you would for a Transit Trail, which doesn't even come with upgraded suspension. It's completely stock.
And I think it's important to mention, like, it comes with a max fan, but it's wired to the vehicle's battery. So you're not able to operate it efficiently when you are parked for long periods of time or you're out and about, where we would always wire the max fan to the auxiliary battery, right?
Correct.
So like there's just things that seem like perks on the surface that really aren't that great when you dig into it a little bit more.
Correct.
If you want to go deeper into the topic of a Transit versus Sprinter or Transit Trail versus Transit all-wheel drive, we've got links that provide more detailed information. Okay, here's another question for you. What are some must-have upgrades for your van conversion?
Yeah, so if you are starting a build, whether it's DIY or you're contracting someone to build it for you, always plan for suspension. Suspension is crucial for your vehicle. You're going to be putting a lot of weight into it. Definitely suspension, number one.
Okay, I would say also for sure suspension, but a water filter. So I just feel like having access to clean water wherever you go is so crucial, and it just gives you so much more freedom in your van of where you can fill up your water. And so I would say that for sure. And then the other thing is AC, which, like, if you live in a hot area like Arizona or Florida, wherever, it might be like, of course we're gonna do AC. But some people want to save money by not getting an AC, and it really limits the way they can use their van, because one, in the summer, in anywhere pretty much, it gets warm enough, you're gonna be kind of uncomfortable in your van without AC. And then two, it really helps the resale value of your van afterwards, because 100% you're opening it up to so much more of a potential, audience, and when you have AC, so many more people can buy your van and get good use out of it. And the last thing you want to do is spend a ton of money on a van and then not enjoy using it in this beautiful weather because you're hot or uncomfortable.
Yeah, AC has become one of those things that wasn't as common maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
No, maybe even like 5 years ago.
Yeah, and now we're seeing 9 out of 10 builds go out of our shop with AC. Now, another thing that's more recent, because technology has improved, is internet. So having quality internet when you're on the road, for some people is mandatory. For those who are going to be working off grid, Starlink is a must-have. So Starlink gives you really high-speed quality internet. But again, it might not be a must-have for some people who want to escape from it all and aren't going to be working off grid.
For sure. Going off of van conversion upgrades, what are upgrades that you could easily add later? So if you're building on a budget and you want to choose what things should I add now in the beginning and what things can I add down the line, what would you say can be easily added later?
Yeah, so just generally speaking, so much of the exterior bolt-on product, so your bumpers with a winch, front or rear, your side ladders, an awning, those are all things that could be easily added later on that are all really beneficial, but they cost thousands of dollars when you're building already an expensive van. So save that for maybe a birthday present or Christmas present.
Yeah, like adding to that bug screens,
Yes.
an air compressor, like a pull-out garage tray. All of those things are just easy upgrades that you can add down the line. And they're not super technical to add either.
Yeah.
One more thing you could add later to future-proof your van as well is a lot of our clients are couples or singles, but are you always going to be? Because in the future, you might have kids or grandkids that you want to bring along on your journey. And so we have a lot of people opt for a rear like bench seat, like an upholstered seat where they can dine, or a dinette. But you could add L-track into your vehicle and install a Limitless van swivel seat base and a broad arrow seat bed, folding seat bed. And all of a sudden your van goes from seating 2 people to seating 4 and having an extra bed because it folds down. So if that's something you're thinking, I might want to, sell my van down the line, or my family might be growing, consider putting in L-track that fits with our seat base and swivel, because then you have a van that seats and sleeps more people.
Absolutely.
We also see more and more people choosing to put Shieldman seats in the front of their vehicle, which are awesome. But again, you could try with the OEM seats and see how you like it and save up and add those higher end seats down the line.
I say those are almost mandatory.
Okay, so then let's talk about what is your personal favorite splurge item for a van?
Okay, that's an easy question for me because I'm still a big kid. Like this van behind us, I love the 35-inch tires. And in order to fit those 35-inch tires on your Mercedes, you got to get a Van Compass 2-inch lift kit. So yeah.
Is that
definitely.
the 6.3?
The Van Compass 6.3, yep. It has the Striker 2-inch lift kit on it. Mm-hmm. And you can choose some big, meaty tires. And your van looks really set apart and special going down the road.
All right, so my splurge upgrade.
I know what this is going to be.
Okay, it would be the Super Pacific rooftop tent, the cloud cap.
To be specific.
To be super specific, it's the Super Pacific.
The cloud cap.
The cloud cap. And that's because we've got kids, and it provides a lot more sleeping space in your van. And it has like an interior hatch, so you can go from inside your van. You don't have to walk outside to access the tent. And it's like a 4-season tent. It's pretty amazing. Okay, so this next question is definitely worth consideration. And it's, how concerned should I be with the overall weight of my vehicle, my van?
Yeah.
So I'll start that one.
Okay.
So we would say you definitely should be somewhat concerned, right, with the overall weight of your vehicle. You are adding lots of components into your van, especially like if you're, depending on what materials you choose. Are you doing floor to ceiling, wood cabinetry? Are you adding a ton of exterior bolt-on things? They all add weight. So your vehicle is going to end up being heavy, relatively heavy when you have a full conversion. So what we like to address is how can we make it so the vehicle can safely handle the added weight? So what would you say you can do to make your vehicle be able to support the extra weight of a van conversion?
So number one, like I've said already multiple times, is suspension. There's quality suspension components, whether it's Van Compass or Agile Off-Road. And next, a big deal would be considering a big brake kit. So there's a couple companies that offer really high quality brake kits. They're a little bit pricey, but they add a lot in terms of quality in a build. And lastly is considering a dually. So a dual rear wheel on either a Ford or a Mercedes increases the payload capacity significantly. And I believe the GVWR on both vehicles goes up almost 2,000 pounds. So you can carry a lot more weight in your vehicle. One pro of a Mercedes is they offer on the 3500s a super single. So you can get the dually from factory and then not have to compromise with handling on off-road and get a Rika wheel super single. And it makes for a really nice quality ride, but you still have the 11,000 pound GVWR. Also, if you're using a 148 chassis that's an extended length for a Transit, or a 170 wheelbase, that's a Mercedes, you can fit a lot more items and cabinetry inside of it. Nowadays, we're seeing much larger battery capacities, which means heavier, larger water tank capacities, which is heavier. Everybody just wants more and more. So our weights are going higher and higher. So immediately you need to be concerned about your build materials. Bamboo is going to be heavier than plywood. Obviously, you don't want to put granite countertops in, or maybe you want to consider sacrificing the beautiful butcher block countertops for something that's lighter, like paper stone. So that's one thing to consider when you're starting a build.
Hey, if you're finding this information helpful, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel. We are coming out with new videos with van content. We also have tour videos of several of our custom van builds, and you'll be the first to know about those. Okay, so my next question was gonna be, do I really need an upgraded suspension? But we already answered that, right? Like, yes. So let's then dig into the details.
All right, let's start with the Ford Transit. So with the Ford, you're gonna do something different than you would with the Mercedes. First thing you do is you get a Quigley Q-Lift. What the Q-Lift is good for is it maintains the factory warranty. It protects your CV angle, so you can actually put big tires and suspension in the front of your van. There's no way you can put Bilsteins in the front of your van unless you have that Q-Lift. Otherwise, the CV angle is too steep, and you compromise the strength of that immediately. So first thing, Q-Lift, put Bilsteins in the front, and then lastly, get suspension for the rear of your vehicle. In our case, we use Van Compass. We'll use the dual bypass, nice Falcon shocks, and we'll also do an add-a-leaf kit in the back and sumo springs as well. So this really improves the stability of the ride. For certain vehicles, depending on what we assume is going to be the weight at the end of the build, we'll also add a rear stabilizer as well. This really improves the handling.
And if this is a lot of information, we have a full blog post that details what we recommend with links. So we'll have that in a link in our description as well. Okay, so what about Sprinter?
Okay, moving on to Sprinter, you have a lot more options with the Sprinter, and the sky is kind of the limit. So you can start from a basic suspension improvement. Van Compass offers a 4.3 kit, which is what we recommend, and that'll put nice suspension in the front and the rear. And then you can kind of move up from there. They offer an inverted rally strut in the front, dual bypass shocks, and in the rear they have an OptiRate spring where it's a full leaf pack replacement. That's really if you're going to add significant amounts of weight into your van. That's one of my favorite packages, and it's in the van behind us. It's essentially the 6.3 with the OptiRate leaf pack replacement and the Baja inverted rally strut with Van Compass Falcon shocks on all four corners, and we also add the Baja bracket as well, because that's kind of a weak point in the factory Mercedes. So that's one thing to talk about. We always put Baja brackets in the back two wheels of the vehicle. It's a shear point on the bolt in a stock Mercedes.
All right, we're gonna talk about some of our recommendations for AC and for toilet. So the best van life AC. I have to say, I couldn't tell you what the best is because there's a lot of options out there, and I think a lot of them are really good. So I'll tell you what we've used and had a lot of good success with. So the Nomadic air conditioning is low profile. They are a great company. We've had no issues using their ACs. So that's a great rooftop option. The Dometic RTX 2000 is really compact and really powerful. So that is a great option that we are using in a lot of future builds potentially. And the Cruise and Comfort. So the Cruise and Comfort, what makes that unique is that it is not rooftop mounted, it's mounted underneath. And so it saves you that rooftop space if you want a lot of solar or you want to just have a roof deck to hang out or whatever the case may be.
Also, the Cruise and Comfort is what you would choose if you want a rooftop tent where you want to run your ducting up into that tent as well and keep that top space nice and cool.
And it's all American made, which is nice.
Really good customer service, American made product.
Okay, so what about toilet?
Toilet. Let me just reach down here for a second. The Throne. Now this bad boy right here is my favorite toilet. I would use this in my house if I could. Okay. This is the Lavio Dry Flush. It's a nice looking toilet, and what I like about it the best is it doesn't stink in van life. It's important that things don't stink, and you don't have to deal with a yucky, sloshy mess that smells gross and chemically as well. So this actually comes with cartridges, so it has a 15 flush cartridge on it. There's a foil bag, which you kind of see in there. It looks like cellophane. It'll twist and push down and you have a fresh new cellophane bag to do your business in. And after those 15 flushes, there's a larger bag. You can collect it up and you can throw it away. So I like this. The only downside to this toilet, I would say, is if you have multiple kids, like we do, who like to use the bathroom a lot, it can get a little bit more expensive to replace those cartridges frequently.
So if it's yellow, let it mellow.
Yeah.
Add the pea powder.
Go to the woods.
Or go to the woods for sure.
Yeah.
Like, unless it's like the middle of the night and it's sketch, but add the pea powder and then you can do your other business on top of it and just save that money with no stink. I mean, that's honestly what we love about this, is it truly does not stink.
As far as other toilets go, the Wrap-On Trekker is a really quality toilet. It's a smaller size. It's almost like a square suitcase, so you can fit it into more spaces, which is crucial for a van, but it functions the same as a Lavio dry flush. It just deals with it, and it's an individually wrapped package.
So it's a little cheaper per flush.
It's a little bit cheaper per flush. Another really good toilet that's cheaper and is a little bit more traditional, but we like them because of their smaller profile. They come in all different sizes as well, is the Trulino. And all of those will have links below in the description as well.
Okay, so this next question is very Limitless van specific. But today, someone could go to an RV dealership and they could find an adventure van on the lot, right? That's pre-built, factory built, adventure van conversion. So what sets Limitless van apart? Like, how are we different than a pre-built adventure van?
Yeah, good question. So there's a few things that are most crucial in separating us. So first of all is quality. If you were to go to an Overland Expo or an Adventure Van Expo and look at one of these mass-produced adventure vans and then step into a Limitless van, you'd immediately notice the difference in fit and finish and quality. From the fabrics we use, from the cabinetry and the expert workmanship that goes into the cabinetry and the amount of time that we spend perfecting all of our cabinetry and details, there's a huge difference. And you'll be able to notice that the first minute you step in. Second is going to be the level of customization. So you're not going to be able to get layout choices, color and fabric and hardware choices to the extent that you get with Limitless Van, where there's literally hundreds and thousands of color choices you can get and fabric choices you can get. How you want to customize the exterior of your vehicle as well, or the type of suspension components you want to put on. There's just so many options that we get to work with the customer to be able to bring their vision into a reality and make their dreams real.
I would say that we work very closely with the clients. So they're able to share with us how they intend to use their van. What does their future look like in their van? Then we're able to consult based on their needs. So it's a very individualized process. And even on the back end of it, down the line, they've left with their van and they have a question about something, right? How do I turn off my inverter? They're not calling a random helpline. They're not emailing a random email address. Like, they're reaching out to people that they know, that we've built a relationship with them like over months. And we're offering—
It's me, or it's our
project manager, Ashley. Yeah, so we're offering direct support. So definitely the client experience is truly second to none. So today there are a lot of really incredible high-end custom van builders. What sets Limitless Van apart from those other custom van build companies?
Yeah, definitely the environment has gotten more competitive as time's gone on. So we had to differentiate ourselves pretty quickly. And we were able to do that because we're a small company that has access to large business, large company resources. So our parent company has been around for 40 years, and they are a high-end design build company that has done projects for companies like Tesla or Costco or Skechers. And us being a small company, we're able to tap into those large company resources. So we have access to CNCs, to powder coat booths, to a large metal shop, to a massive cabinetry shop. So we're able to bring those large company resources into our small company and really increase that quality, but still be able to maintain a really high-end customer experience.
Absolutely, because we're doing it all in-house with those machines, we're able to have a lot more quality control and a lot higher level of customization as well.
Definitely.
All right, that's a wrap. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and like and subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment, and we just might be able to answer your question in an upcoming video or blog. We also have links to the things we discussed in the description below.
Thanks for watching.